Howdy, Michael, a Mercedes guy here, and we're replacing a thermostat on a diesel car, and I've already pulled the housing off, and guess what? The old housing is just corroded all up. I'm not even going to bother trying to clean that. I found a good one on the shelf, a good used one, and I've already taken a tap and cleaned these holes because you don't want to be breaking off bolts, and also you want to be able to torque the bolts. And so these thermostat gaskets are a little different than the 6-cylinders. They have a little slot in there, so you have to put this on the thermostat first. There we go. Okay, so we got a gasket on there. Now, which way does the thermostat go? This flange goes towards the engine. And I'll show you what's up. This is our old housing that we aren't using because it's corroded. And you notice there is a sealing surface there so that when this opens up, it closes off right against that flange inside there, flange to flange. Okay, so we're ready to assemble this. And the first thing, or second or third, whatever, I've already wire wheeled these bolts so the threads are clean. A little bit of oil in there to make sure that things work nicely. Okay, to put a bolt in a hard to get to place, what helps is to put a socket on. Now, sometimes the sockets are so deep that the head goes way up in there. So, in that case, if you want the bolt to be out further, just get a nut and put in there, and then on. And also, sometimes what helps in real difficult places is to take a piece of masking tape and just put a piece over there and cram that on, and that way the bolt will stay in the socket. Now, you don't have to do that here in this case, but it's handy in many difficult situations. Okay, this was our old housing that's corroded all to heck. So you don't just put the hose back on there like that, because look inside here. You take a small wire brush and do a number on this. Look at that stuff. And the hose is pretty good. Obviously a newer replacement. If it was a brand new hose, we wouldn't have to do this. But since it's used hose, we want that clean so that the Permatex will have rubber to stick to, not corrosion. Okay, now I like to use new clamps, but we're using old ones. But whether it's new or old, you always want to put a few drops of oil, and it will make your clamp not only function better, but it'll help from stripping it out. And when I say stripping out, when you over tighten the clamp, these slots, it'll rip out a section in between each slot. And on other ones like these Mercedes clamps, it'll just override it and flatten that out. But if you have it lubricated, you can help avoid that. Okay, so I've got the thermostat housing on and the sensor in and the wiring, and I zip tied it up so that the wire won't hit the fan cooling blades of the alternator. And of course I've already adjusted the alternator belts. And now to fill it. Now on this model of diesel, what we'll do is we're going to loosen this clamp and we're going to fill it this way down into the engine block, because this doesn't have a radiator cap on the radiator. It's over here, and this is going to take forever to get in the radiator, so this will be a little bit faster. Okay, for refilling the coolant, we've got the car jacked up real high in the front. This hose off the radiator, and we'll fill the block. Then with our expansion tank over there, we'll fill the radiator till it just starts to come out the radiator, and then hook it up.